Grand Rising, family, Grand Rising. It is bright and shiny early in the morning. Okay, I'm trying to get this done because I've been trying to get it done for the last few days, family. So please excuse me, okay, for being a little absent over here. I have been doing things in reference of my life, right? A whole new journey of doing things a little different and shifting things. So, and I meant to put a video up over here that I had recorded to tell you guys that it will be a little bit less action on the channel this month, right? But this month is August, right? So it is a month of eight, which we know eights are also about healing. So this is a month of healing for me, of going through a cleanse and things of that sort, right? Doing shadow work and so forth, right? So, and I hope you are doing the same, right? So that is why you haven't been seeing me that much on this channel, as well as I'm doing some studies in the background. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I am High Priestess Key 333, coming to you in the place to be for the one, two, and the three, for the knowledge, wisdom, and the understanding, right? And we get ready to get into this full moon message, right? Or what we need to know around the full moon. As you guys always know, if you have been here with me, I do true sidereal and verdict messages and information on this channel only. What we call also spiritual astrology, where I talk about the planetary alignment and so forth, right? The energy that is possessed behind that. But the main course that I like to deliver here is the true sidereal, okay? But I also love the verdict because it goes hand in hand, okay? It may be just a little bit difference, right? But the true sidereal, family, is when you took your first breath on this earth, where the sun, the moon, the stars align, right? In the sky, what you can see with your two eyes. And so it is. So that's what I would like to get into as usual. Okay. What you will always find on this channel. You can go back and even look at some of the element reads. Those are based off of the true sidereal, the spiritual astrology. Okay. I don't get into the Western because the Western will change the alignment of what it truly is when you look into the physical sky, okay? And then the spiritual energy that's behind it, all right? So let's get to it, family. So as you guys all know, we do have a full moon that is coming up. Now, the full moon, family, right, is going to be on the night of the 8th going into the ninth. So it's really like the ninth, right? So it's really not on that 8-8 portal, but it's still right there at that 8-8 Lionsgate portal, right? Because I know everybody all Lionsgate, 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 but what they really don't understand is the gist of it is the Lion's Den, okay, that you can be in. So that I want to make clear to everyone that hears and see my voice, okay? And just understand that that's something that they don't like for you to know, all right? Now, the other part of things of what I want to talk about is, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes on the other screen, and also y'all know I always have to share with you guys, right? The physical um, planets or the planetary alignment, right? So I'm going to show you this every time when I'm talking about the planets or the full moon phases or the moon phases. So this can get in your mind what's in the sky, and in due time you'll understand and come around to it, and you can start to understand and know your true sidereal verdict birth chart. Okay, I was trying to get it out. So this is what's going to align with that. Okay, so it's going to look a little different. It's going to be a little different. Just like you see now, it shows you in the sky, we're still in Cancer energy. Okay, we're still in Cancer energy. That's why you're still very emotional about things. You may be going through some trying times, some things reflecting a lot of sins, right? A lot of things that are showing us, the different energy of the vibrational frequency of this earth. Okay, a lot of people don't even understand that, the frequency that they're in contributes to the things that happen in your life and where the path that you rely on your will, right? So the sun is in Cancer, as you can see here, right? It still shows it here. And then you can always go to this website. I always tell you guys, it's like looking in a telescope out at the sky. This is what it's showing you, okay? The exact date and the exact time you can put in. You can put in your location. However you want to look in the sky, it's going to show it to you in the true sidereal, okay? And it's a tracker, and it's also a star map that you can go to, all right, to get it. This is from source, okay? Although it's on the internet, but this is what the Eastern astrology would go by. So the moon is in Sag, which when we get to the 9th of that morning at 3, I think it's 3:55 in the morning, a.m. Eastern time is what I'm going by because I'm in Eastern time. We're going to be in Capricorn. So you see it's already in Sag, right? And then we still have Mercury that's in Cancer retrograde until the 11th, okay? We have Venus that is in Gemini. We have Mars that has reached Virgo at this point, all right? We have Jupiter that's in Gemini, and we have Saturn that's in Pisces. We have Uranus that is still in Taurus, okay? That Saturn is also retrograde. Neptune is also retrograde, that is in Pisces, all right? So, with me giving you that information, that is where the planetary alignment lies right now. Now, I'd like to also give you, because I also like to tap into all the planetary alignment, Rahu is retrograde as well. It's in Aquarius, and Ketu is retrograde in Leo, okay? Pluto is also known as Quayar, is also retrograde in Capricorn. Chiron is retrograde in Aries. All right. So I wanted to let you know all those other planetary alignments because some people may not give you that. So you can stay in sync. And I'm referring to talking about the time of the full moon. Okay, that's what we're looking at right now. That's what we're talking about. Now, let's talk a little bit more in reference of the nakshatras when we're talking about the Vedic. The nakshatras on at the time of the full moon, family, will be definitely reflecting, okay, of the moon being in Sharavana. Sharavana, okay, is a nakshatra that Capricorn moon will be in. That Capricorn moon will be in the 22, will be 22 degrees, which 22 goes back to Uranus. But that moon energy sits in reference of a lot of Saturn energy, right? And Mars, of course, is in Virgo, right? So we're going to talk about it. So the nakshatra where the moon is going to sit, family, is going to be in Sharavana. Sharavana is known as the translate to hearing. Okay, so in Vedic, it's the nakshatra. It translates to, it's the 22nd. And what's so crazy is the moon, that Capricorn energy is going to be at 22 degrees, and the Sharavana nakshatra is the 22nd nakshatra in the Vedic because it has 27. Okay. So the Shavana nakshatra is about hearing, listening, learning, things of that sort. It is the symbol of the ear, right? So imagine that. So Capricorn in the spiritual astrology of what the full moon will be in is all about prayer and meditation, the prayer warrior, right? But it also goes back to the universal laws. And you guys know here, your girl rocks with the universal laws because that's how we are governed, okay? And the universal law for Capricorn is what? The law of relativity, okay? The law of relativity. Everything is relative to be able to listen and hear. So you know what the ancestors say with this moon is to be still and to listen. And you know what? We've been getting a lot of messages on my Patreon about being still, about listening to our intuition, about listening to our discernment, about listening, about hearing, right? That's that energy that's that the ancestors is already letting us know about, right? So the ancestors definitely is keeping us ahead of the game, because when you get that symbolism, right, of what the nakshatra is, the ear, right? So ear is about listening, is about hearing, is about, be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you put into your, because the ear is right to the crown, the mind, right? So also that's about your understanding, right? So spiritually, the Sharavana nakshatra that we'll be in Capricorn energy, when the energy of the full moon comes on the 9th, that symbolizes the act of learning and absorbing. I know I've been doing a lot of studying. I've been doing a lot of learning. A lot of you may be doing a lot of research and learning, getting back to something new, shifting, hearing, right? Because Capricorn is also about viewing every challenge as a lesson. So it's all about the lessons right now, right? But understanding that you can triumph and be successful throughout this situation that you may be in, or any chaotic situation, to not be out of alignment with this Capricorn energy, okay? To not speak negativity out, period. To not listen to negativity as well. See, with the ear, okay? Um, and remember, Mercury is still retrograde. Okay. So communication and things like that. Some things will be repeated. Okay. That you'll hear. All right. So take heed. This next chakra is governed by the moon. So deception. So you'll hear a lot of things that will try to deceive on the negative side of things, on the low vibrational side of things during this full moon. Remember, the full moon can bring the good and the bad, right? All moon phases have duality, family. But this one is governed by the law of relativity. So ancestors say everything is relative. You must look at the big picture of it all and don't fall for the trickery, right? Because that 22 in all ways around the Capricorn energy, and around the because what Capricorn is ruled by, and also the nakshatra goes back to being tricked out of, and being manipulated out of, and being caught out there to look like an ass, being embarrassed, things of that sort. Okay, a lot of drama, a lot of trauma, right? As you guys may look at tarot and see that Capricorn is what they call the devil card. So that's that energy, right? The trickster, right? The toxic behavior, the manipulation, right? The drama, the trauma, whatever it may be. So you got to be very mindful of that during this time. 8 and 9 is 17. That is the soul, okay? In reference of some things that we're going to see a lot of. A lot of people that will be tricked out of things and will be manipulated. We may see a lot of death because people aren't listening. You see? So this is how it all coincides, okay? Listen to hear, absorbing, learning, all of this, be receptive. This is the time to regain and to soak up wisdom, to hear, to listen. Mars is in Virgo. Virgo is all about learning. Okay. Virgo is all about being organized and being diligent and following all the rules. Virgo is all mental. Use the mind. Be divine. And soak the wisdom up aggressively. See? So it's a sharp act of observation. time to observe, but listen, be quiet, be still. This is a good time for meditation with your ancestors, meditation and just getting your mind right, calm your nerves. If you have anxiety and depression, now is a wonderful time to just sit and listen. Okay? So um this is that energy. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you, during this time on that Friday, Saturday, Mars and Saturn will be in the exact 180-degree planetary aspect at the time, which is also volatile. It's very volatile. Mars and Saturn, family. You hear it? You hear me? Mars and Saturn. It's the most powerful energy. Mars is about war as well. Once again, I'll tell you over and over. And I talked about this before in my warnings, right? Where I talked about July's energy and a little bit of August. And I'm going to come back and do a warnings for August soon. I just haven't had the time. But I definitely wanted to come back and tell you about the full moon, okay? So this full moon is very powerful. We're still going to see a lot of wars, a lot of fighting, a lot of fussing, a lot of arguments, a lot of deaths, okay? We will see some things that will be tornadoes, heat waves, earthquakes, avalanches, landslides, even some things that will bring energy of the sun, right? Because Capricorn is masculine energy. Okay, so we'll see that as well. But Capricorn is the prayer warrior, right? So we need to be praying throughout these times. Okay, and the ancestors will hear us. See, it's an influence that will come. We may see a lot of like I said, wars, military, right? Governments, right? Leaders, all these things clashing, right? The full moon in Capricorn is sidereal, is at 3:54 a.m. Eastern time. My fault. So that definitely goes back to another point of numerology, right? But it also is about that complicated Mars and Saturn alignment, family. I don't want you to get that out your mind. Mars and Saturn. Mars is about something foreign that is going to try to is going to try to have power over something, also some foreign countries, foreign elements of things, right? Mars rules a lot, and so does Saturn, right? A lot in reference of governmental things. So we will see a lot there and a lot of aggressive things, right? Is not a good time to be doing a whole lot of moving and shaking. I'm gonna tell you that, okay, around this moon. So the alignment can play out as others and people being very impatient, causing petty dramas and arguments and fussing and fighting. Bow out, family. Bow out. Bow out. Now is not the time to have pride and envy and jealousy. Now it's time for you to lay that to the side, and egos, all of those things. Because the right action may be harder for you to sense right now as well. So it may be hard with clarity. Right now it's not, especially with those retrogrades, all those reads, because you re-evaluating some things, you thinking things, you overthinking things. And the ancestors said, no, that's going to cloud your judgment. Now it's time for you to be still and listen, observe, okay? Aggressively. So you can use your discernment and your intuition to make sound decisions. And I say wait until after the 11th, where the retros are subsiding out of Mercury retrograde, and it's subsiding also away from that Mars and Saturn conjunction, or the degrees as being exact. Okay, it'll flow into us understanding that we have to be connected with careful and sensitive listening. Also, it's not a good time to listen to very loud things. I suggest at this time is to listen to very classical music if you can. I love classical music. I've been listening to it lately more. Um, Listen to some frequency music, right? Frequency, like how I have playing now in my house. I always have 528 playing in my home with the Buddha up there to keep it sound and cleanse any negative energy that may be surrounding the area. Burn your incense, you know, frankincense, myrrh. I definitely burn mines all the time. Dragon blood to keep the energy from being so, right? Um, so where you would normally respond, listen, okay? Be receptive and be wise, right? Remember, I always talk about the 1, 2, and the 3, which is the supreme mathematics family. If you don't know, I have a whole class of it on my Patreon where I break it down, right? 1 is the knowledge, 2 is the wisdom, 3 is the understanding, okay? Now it's time. We're going to have to reflect on that, okay? But moving into when after the moon, then we go retrograde. The retrograde phases away, so the change, of course, starts to happen, right? But we still are stationary in that Cancer and Mercury, okay, which governs the communication of people being very, very emotional driven around this time, right, with their communication. But alongside of that, we'll move into new nikshatras that I'll talk about later. But I definitely wanted to come to you guys to talk about the planetary alignment for the moon. Now, the sun will be in Ashleisha, which is, remember, the snake energy. But that also goes back to the Vedic, right? But it'll still be in Cancer energy. Some of you guys may not understand that, but it'll still be in that Cancer serpent energy. That will be a time for you to do a lot of spiritual shadow work, because that will be you being able to shed the old and move into the new, to shed the things that have made you very aloof to moving into the new era, right? Because everybody say, oh, the world is ending. No, the world is ending of what we once knew. Okay, that's what they mean. The world is ending of what you once knew. It's now a new beginning coming in. Okay, so all to be said, we still have all these planets, right? A lot in Gemini, a lot in Pisces that I've told you guys about with Saturn and Neptune, which are two volatile, malefic um, planets, right? But all in all, definitely know that full moon energy will definitely still be in the moon of Capricorn energy family. Okay, so we know that. Um, Let me give you some things to utilize, right? Full moon, Capricorn, work with your black candles. Okay, work with your black candles, Capricorn energy. Okay, quartz, amethyst, okay, agate. Um, we may see some things with technology to happen on this near this full moon as well. This is a good time for transformation. This is a good time to work on growth in your life in many aspects of wherever you want it to come from, right? Whether you want it to be growth or, in your spiritual, in your physical, in your job, in your business, whatever. This is a perfect time to work on that, okay? Transformation in all aspects of your life, okay? Love, whatever, okay? The full moon, okay? The full moon, you can also grasp utilizing your black kyanite, right? I always wear that around my neck. Red jasper. Work with myrrh, okay? As I told you many times before, frankincense and myrrh is really good to use to assist you with connecting with your ancestors. And you should be doing your ancestor veneration during this time. cleaning your altars as well, okay? But also going to the altars and doing some ancestor work. Put something out for your ancestors. Earn some ancestor money. Do some things for your ancestors, okay? Let's see what message the ancestors want us to know as I conclude the message for the full moon in Capricorn, true sidereal verdict. In Nakshatra Sharavana, what is the message for the collective ancestors for full moon in Capricorn, Nakshatra Sharavana? What is the message? 3-card message, ancestors, right here. Ashe. Yeah. So answers is definitely giving us a message about the future. Okay. It's definitely energy here about the earth, and a lot of energy here showing in reference of yeah, we can shift the energy that is going to bring a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of deception, but also that moon energy. You need to be working with the moon, the ancestor said, to shift things for yourself. Okay. What we're going to see, the message that came out, ancestors gave it to me specifically: emotional hidden things, emotional trauma. We'll see a lot of things come out about the message that came out. A lot of it could either be, if you're in alignment, this is a time in reference of super abundance. Okay, so you will see things be of an abundance to you that you will be emotionally attached to. But also on the ladder, there's a lot of pain and suffering when you're out of alignment. Okay, this is the time we're going to see a lot of things come out about people having specific ailments, inflictions like cancer, okay, breast, lung, um, uh, and even drugs. Okay, um, we're going to see a lot, okay, that comes out around this time in reference of the moon in Capricorn family. Okay, that moon energy goes back also to traumatic things. All right, so also right now, and it's so funny because moon energy also heightens menopause, right, labor pains and contractions, things like that, all that energy, because 4 is Mother Moon, right? So especially if you have water energy in your chart, or you have, in your birth chart somewhere, which a lot of us do, it's definitely going to be a lot that is bladder, right? So think of the water, right? Like your bladder, your kidney, things like that. So it's water driven, but it's earth driven as well. Okay, so I do have a lot of earth here, which goes back to earthly possessions as well. Also females like daughters and things like that. These things are going to be affected the strongest, right? If you have a daughter, you may want to be, very mindful of your daughter around this time. If you are a daughter, okay, maybe something going on between you and the mother or so forth, So these are all the things, all right? Respiratory and lungs, definitely, and bladder. Please, if you have any of these things arise, you want to get it checked out, okay? And once again, listen, okay? I also see and feel that the ancestors say right now it's going to be a heightened time in reference of an invasion of privacy. And you'll start seeing that more and more and more, whether it's social media, whether it's your home, whether it's your cameras or your security systems. I know I've seen a lot come out about that, but this is definitely a heightened time because the ancestors just gave it to us. And we got that Oberon energy here, which is a planet talks about your future. It's also a rim that can bring great wealth, right? As I said, the ancestors already told us that, we can have great wealth at this time with abundance, but it's also a time for us to listen, right? It's a time for us to listen, okay? It's a time for us to listen, a time for us to hear, okay? And monitor some things, all right? Because you're being monitored as well. Just know that, all right? But I'm going to get off of here because I don't want to get into any trouble. Just know that that energy is here. This is a time for you to be, walking through the darkness and moving towards the light. Family, bring everything to the light, friend. Family, bring everything to the light, all right? Much love to you. I'll see you soon. I'm High Priestess Key checking off. 333, family. Peace.